Welcome back to Harrelson Trumpets. Today we are looking at something new. Surprise! All of 2025 is really like about new stuff, trying new things. Today we're looking at the GS17. Remember, GS stands for garage sale, which is really my way of saying that there is some component on this instrument that was not perfect. And on this one, it was this lead pipe. So I'll cover that first, and then we'll talk about what's new on this instrument. So this lead pipe did come off of a different trumpet, and when it was shipped to us, it was broken. So it was broken at a segment right here. It wasn't completely broken in half or anything like that. But I did sleeve it. So in other words, I put this coupler on there to strengthen it. This is one of our early generation lead pipes, which means the connections are thinner. And if you're not careful with the horn, I shouldn't say careful, but if you abuse the horn, then you could have an instance where you could actually break some of it. And that's simply because we were going for the lightest version of a machine lead pipe back when we first created these. So this lead pipe is fine, it's been repaired. And what is new about this horn, first is the bracing on the top. I'm gonna come around and show you closely on the camera. So here you can see, this is a new lattice structure bracing. It's just on one side, and it's a full three-dimensional lattice structure. I'll zoom in a little bit. And this bracing is designed to be lighter and stronger. So in other words, more efficient. And on the other side, the lead pipe side, there is no bracing. It's actually soldered directly to the valve set, and I did that with the coupler and the lead pipe itself. I actually machined in little indentures exactly the same spacing as the valve set so that it could just connect directly. And you can see there's the GS17 logo. It says laser sintered prototype on it, and that's partially because this little brace here is stainless steel, laser sintered. That is an experimental piece. This top bracing that was cast is experimental, and that was cast out of red brass. And then finally, this tuning slide, which is very unusual. And you may have seen a couple photos or videos floating around on social media of tuning slides with these antinodal little screw plugs in them. And I'll explain those here in a second. So, oh, it does have one other thing that's not common. Two other things, actually. It has the slotted VGR 5/8 inch receiver. So remember, the VGR is the Venturi gap receiver. You can remove the receiver. You can then choose the correct insert that you want to put on the lead pipe, and that will adjust the flexibility, the slotting, but most importantly, it will adjust the impedance ratio to match your impedance of your setup in your mouth and your mouthpiece with the horn itself. And then also you can adjust airflow there as well. The VGR inserts are traditionally brass. We are now making them out of special types of resin and nylon. So you're going to start to see those changes soon. And the brass ones will eventually probably be discontinued. They don't necessarily need to be made out of brass. And then the bottom caps are special as well. So these are our 3/8 inch round hollow. In other words, they are not very heavy, and they still look very nice, but they are rounded off on the edges on the bottom. On the top, they are the chamfered 1/2 inch top caps. And then solid brass finger buttons that are the lightweight option. The finger rings are just standard finger rings, and the water keys are Amato. The lead pipe on this is a 1, and the bell is number 10. And I forgot to show you the engraving, so we'll get that in there too. All right, that's what the engraving looks like. So it says prototype cast tuning slide, lead pipe 1, bell 10. And this was built February 28th. It actually wasn't entirely finished on February 28th. We just finished it last week. So I wasn't sure exactly what was going to happen with this tuning slide. And that was kind of the holdup on this build. This instrument would be in the same class as the G4. It is not a G4. It's not technically a G4 or a G5 prototype. And because I did use that one lead pipe that had a repair on it, it became a GS series. And if you see any of our instruments that have a GS designation, that technically means that there was something about the horn that was either repaired, or maybe it just didn't pass inspection. Most of them, that's what it was. So even though I did use this build as a prototype, it's not officially one of the prototypes. Now let's explain a little bit about these holes. Okay, so all of these holes have been sealed with small stud hex screws, and they, I guess the best way to explain how this works and what it does, it's an experimental way of us being able to add mass in different places, but it's one of those things where learning to cast the tuning slides was very challenging, and finding where we want to put the different amounts of mass on the tuning slide is kind of a tricky thing. So each of these screws, even though they're little studs that just fill the wall, originally they were bigger, heavier pieces, and we can use those to experiment, and I can even put them in other parts of the trumpet. I can put them on the bell, on the lead pipe, almost anywhere, and that's one way that we can experiment with adding mass in different places. And to really explain how that could be an advantage, on a cast tuning slide, we're trying to find the maximum amount of thickness that we need to have the most efficiency without making the tuning slide really heavy. So let me pull this tuning slide out. As you can see, it's got the little studs all over it. The newer version of this tuning slide is actually a little thicker and heavier, and we're not sure if that'll actually become the G4 series or not, but we know this one was too thin in terms of what we want to achieve. So that was some of the experiment we did there. And we've been looking for many years at a way to add efficiency to bent crooks, like the first, second, and third crooks. And we can drill holes in these and add mass the same way for experimental purposes. But we will be creating a special new version of the crooks that may become available on the G4 series. All that to say, this is probably about a $6,000 trumpet. We're offering it at half price. I don't need your feedback on this one, so you can just buy it. There's no, agreement that you're going to give me feedback. I would love it if you did, but it's not a requirement. So if you want a nice, lightweight Harrelson trumpet that does have the cutting edge technology, has been one of our experiments, and could last you a lifetime, then this could be the one, the GS17. Finally, I'll play it for you. And again, I've been working on the Charlier. I also have been working on the Oscar Boehm Concerto and the Artunian. For those of you who don't watch me regularly, I couldn't play for many years because I had a hole in my heart, and I had some heart surgeries, and then I had over 2 years of rehab to get back to where I could play trumpet again. I mean, where I could even just like start blowing on it. And in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I actually, for the first time in like, how many years? In probably 14 or 15 years, this is the first time I've actually had a regular trumpet practice routine. And all that to say, I've probably practiced about 15 days in the last maybe 24 or 25. So this is what I sound like today. All right, so I should mention the insert that I did put in here. I didn't look at which one it is. I just grabbed one sitting on the table. Knowing that will help me too. Okay, so that is a 346 number 16. Oh, okay. So number 16 is a little bit big in terms of the gap size. Let me see if I have a smaller one sitting right here in one of these other horns. This one is well, whoever has been playing the trumpets liked the number 16. And I'll just say this, I hate the number 16. It's a terrible insert. So I'm going to grab a different one because I know for a fact I'm not going to be able to play very well with such a giant gap. So let me fix that. And I've got a whole box of miscellaneous unsorted inserts right here, so let me find one that I think is going to work. anything smaller than a 16 would be nice. Okay, so I can tell I've used this one a lot. It's not marked. It looks like it's a number 8, but I don't know the Venturi size. So we're going to put that on. I just snap it on the end like that, and then I screw the receiver back down. And sorry, I should have done that before I started recording, but it did give you a chance to see how that VGR system works. My slotting, but when I started playing just now, was too tight. I was locking in on the partials really, really hard. I don't like that feeling. I like to slide around a little more. So I have about half as much gap now. Wow, much better. It feels good. I would say this insert is probably a 346, maybe even a 348. I can tell I'm using a lot more air than I normally would, and that's because that 346 is thousandths of an inch. It's how much air is going through the lead pipe. And the VGR system allows us to control the airflow. So I could make that a 340, or really tiny like a 332, or really big like a 360. And that would control how much air gets through it. Also control how much amplitude on the different partials will get through the instrument. And it can change the tone color as well. So with that said, this one's a little bit big, but the gap setting and the impedance ratios that I'm getting feel pretty good. So if I just dialed down the Venturi size, I'd probably have the right size. I'm not going to do that here on camera, but I am going to finish the etude. I have a few lines left. Wow, I would say this is a really decent horn. I've messed with it a little bit. Most of the experimenting with this was the tuning slide, like I said before. But the way it's set up right now, it feels really good, and it plays really well. And the fact that I can get straight through that whole etude after not practicing for like 15 years, and then just starting the last few weeks, that's encouraging. You know, for me, with all of my heart issues, and you know, those were birth defects that I've had my whole life, and then taking all that time off, I used to play professionally and I couldn't do it anymore, and getting back to where I can do that so quickly and do it on this horn, that's great. That feels really good. Yeah, so this is the GS17. I will have a couple other videos come out. I'm going to be showing off this Muse MMXX, which is in like mint condition. It was built in 2022, and it came in on trade a couple weeks ago. The owner of this trumpet traded towards a brand new lighter weight solid fixed trumpet, another high-end horn. And I'll also cover the VPS Summit that I have sitting here, And that one, both of these are on our website. I have a Taylor London and some other stuff. I have a Bach, a Yamaha, a bunch of other stuff, a Calet Soloist. What else is there? A Best in International. I'll be showing all those off in another video, or a couple more videos. But I really wanted to just get this out and show you the GS17, so you have a good idea of what this horn's all about. And because we did mark it down, the GS horns, we never sell them at regular price. So this one's probably like half price, you know. Whatever the price is, it's way too low for what it is. You're gonna get a good deal on this, and you can always trade it back towards a new custom horn if you decide to do that. But I wanted to get this video out there right away because I know someone's gonna jump on the website and buy it right away, and I want all of you to have kind of an equal chance on that. Because the last few I did list, they sold before the video even went up, so I just rushed in here to get the video done before the instrument was gone. So that is the GS17. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at harrelsonTrumpets@gmail.com or call us at 303-657-2747. Remember, we are located right here in Denver, Colorado. It's a fairly easy flight to get into Denver, and I'm happy to pick you up at the airport and maybe even drop you off if you arrange that ahead of time and we get the timing right. I don't want to spend an hour each way in rush hour traffic, so we'll talk about that if it's something you want to do. I highly recommend coming here to visit us and see what we do, whether you own one of our horns or not, or you're thinking of getting one, because we can walk you through all the options and we can help you understand which lead pipes and bells might be the best for you. Getting back to that, a lead pipe 1 is fairly versatile, and a number 10 is bigger and warmer than standard, and it's perfect for an etude like this, but it could do a lot of other things. And now that I'm thinking about it, I should have played it on Spectratone yellow and red, but you got a good idea of what it sounds like. And like I said, if you have questions, give us a call. I'll see you next time.